You think fairy tales are dead. That love at first sight is just a line in an old movie. Think again. What happened one night inside the gilded walls of Manhattan's most exclusive gala would silence gossip, turn enemies into believers, and change to lives forever. This isn't the kind of story you can half listen to while scrolling. No, you need to lean in, because by the end, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about beauty, pride, and the walls people build around their hearts. Before we dive in, if you live for raw, unpredictable, jaw-dropping real-life stories, hit that subscribe button right now, because missing the next one could be the biggest mistake of your week. Alexander Pierce was a billionaire whose life was measured not in years, but in deals closed, companies acquired, and headlines dominated. To Wall Street, he was the sharpest mind of his generation. To the social elite, he was the man every woman wanted to be seen with, every man wanted to be. But to Emily Clark, he was simply her boss, and not always a kind one. Emily had been Alexander's secretary for 3 years. She was the kind of woman people overlooked. Her hair was always tied in a severe bun. Thick glasses framed her face. Her clothes were practical and plain, and she moved quietly through the office, speaking only when necessary. Her coworkers whispered things when they thought she couldn't. Here, how can someone so plain work for him? And she's probably invisible to him. What they didn't know was that Emily was the reason Alexander's empire didn't collapse under the weight of his ambition. She kept his calendar, diffused disasters, handled late-night calls from Tokyo and early morning emergencies from London, all without ever letting him see her falter. Then came the Hawthorne Charity Gala, the crown jewel of Manhattan's social season. Alexander had planned to attend with a model on his arm, someone the cameras would devour. But 2 hours before the event, she canceled, citing some urgent brand shoot in Paris. Furious, Alexander stormed into Emily's office. "You're coming with me tonight," he said flatly. Emily froze. "Sir, I don't think you'll wear what I send you. Be ready at 7. And just like that, he was gone, leaving Emily staring at the clock, her pulse hammering. She had never been to an event like this. She imagined the judgmental stares, the smirks, the whispered comments. But something inside her stirred, a spark she hadn't felt in years. Maybe, just maybe, she could survive one night in his world. What she didn't know was that one night would change everything. The dress arrived in a sleek black box with a gold ribbon, the kind of box that looked like it belonged in a luxury fashion house window. Emily opened it slowly, and her breath caught. The gown was emerald green silk, the color rich and deep, with delicate lace sleeves and a plunging neckline. She hesitated. Could she really wear something like this? By 7, she was ready, or as ready as she could be. Her hair, usually tied up, fell in soft waves around her shoulders. The glasses were gone. And when Alexander knocked and she opened the door, he froze. For a split second, he didn't recognize her. "Let's go," he said, his voice quieter than usual. At the gala, heads turned. Conversations paused. People whispered, not out of mockery, but surprise. Emily's transformation was so complete that even Alexander's rivals couldn't hide their double takes. But then came the moment that would shift everything. During the evening, one of Alexander's business competitors, a man known for his cruelty, made a cutting remark about 9. Emily, assuming she was just some pretty arm candy. Alexander's jaw tightened. For the first time in years, he felt protective, not out of ownership, but something deeper. Emily, however, didn't need rescuing. She responded with wit and grace that left the man speechless and the surrounding crowd impressed. As the night went on, Alexander found himself watching her, the way she carried herself, the way her laughter sounded richer without the weight of self-consciousness. And then, in the middle of the ballroom, under a chandelier dripping with crystals, he asked her to dance. For a man who prided himself on control, Alexander was shocked to realize he didn't want the night to end. But Emily knew the truth. This wasn't her world. And when the night was over, she'd go back to being the woman no one noticed. Or so she thought. The days after the gala were different. Alexander found excuses to talk to her more, to ask about her life, to linger in conversations that had nothing to do with business. Emily, wary, kept her guard up. But one evening, a crisis hit, a scandal that threatened Alexander's empire. False accusations planted by a rival hit the press. Emily worked around the clock to clear his name, uncovering evidence that not only saved his company, but exposed the rival's corruption. Alexander was stunned. It wasn't just her intelligence or loyalty, it was her courage. And in that moment, he realized the truth. He hadn't fallen for the version of Emily that stunned the gala. He had fallen for the woman she'd always been beneath the armor. One night, as they stood in his office with the city skyline glittering, behind them, he said the words he never thought he would. "Emily, I think I'm in love with you." She laughed softly, thinking he was teasing. But when she saw his expression, her breath caught. "You don't have to say that," she whispered. "I'm not your world. You are my world," he said. And for once, the billionaire who had everything finally had something, someone he could never buy, never replace. The cameras would later catch them together at another gala, not as boss and secretary, but as equals. The whispers were gone. In their place was something stronger: respect, admiration, and the undeniable truth that beauty isn't about what the world sees. It's about the connection between two hearts brave enough to see each other fully.